So this is 2022 paper 2 deferred question 7. So Nuala and Mike are judges on a weekly talent show. There are 10 acts in the competition each week. The table below shows the judges' scores for each of the 10 acts on a particular week. A scatter plot of some of the scores is also shown. Okay, so part A, the points for acts B, D, and J have not been included in the scatter plot. Plot a point to represent each of these acts on the scatter plot and label each one clearly. Okay, so the first thing we're really doing here then is we're marking in the ones that haven't been done. So they're in bold, but they're a bit hard to see, so I'll just highlight. And J are the ones we have to do. Okay, so Nuala's score is on the bottom. So Nuala 35. So 35 is obviously going to be somewhere in here between 30 and 40. And Mike's score for that same person is 34. So I'm just tracking up from 35 and doing my best to mark 35, 34. So that, and I'm labeling it B. Now for D, it's 49 for Nuala. So over here in the end, and I need to track that up to 38. So about there. Okay, so that is D. And the last one, J, I'm going from 32 to 32. So that's about there, and that's J. Okay. So it says, using a calculator, find the correlation coefficient between the scores of the two judges correct to 2 decimal places. Okay, so I'm picking up my calculator here and I'm going into my menu and number 2, which is my stats. And then I'm going to number 2 in that list. Now, if you've done that right, you'll see a column for X and a column for Y. So under the X column, I'm putting the 20, the 35. Remember, you just hit equals after each data entry, and that puts it into the table. So I'm just doing that now. So I'm starting with my X values. Okay, so I have all my X values done. Now I'm going to do the same with my Y values. Okay, right. So once I have all the scores put in, I'm looking for my correlation coefficient. So I'm going to press on my calculator the button option. It's under the shift button on the left, top left. So I hit option. Now, because I'm looking for the correlation coefficient, I tap on number 4. Now, when I tap on that, you can see OR comes up. I'm doing it to 2 decimal places. So that's 0.81. On the scatter plot, draw the line of best fit by eye. Now, we understand, I hope, that the line of best fit is a line that's supposed to be basically in the middle as best as possible between all the data points. Now, I did explain that on your calculator, you can kind of get the average of the X, the average of the Y, and that gives you a guide as to where it is. So if you want to do that, I'm pressing the back button on the calculator from where I am regarding the correlation coefficient. So my cursor, I hit the back button so I don't have to type everything in again. And this time I tap on number 3. Now, when I tap on number 3, it gives me a list of, the mean, the standard deviation and all that. So I can see that the mean for X is 21. Now, you don't have to do this, but I like to kind of get a point to get me started. And the mean of Y is 30.4. Now, I'm just reading that from my calculator. So that kind of helps me then. I go 21, 30.4. So it's basically there. So it just gives me a kind of a guide as to my line of best fit. Now, please, you're doing this obviously using a ruler. I have to hand do it here. But to be honest with you, in the state exams, once you have a line that looks like it's in between the points, you'll be fine. So that's that one done, line of best fit. Now the last question, there was one more act which is not in the table above. Mike gave this act a score of 35. Use your line of best fit. Now, if they say use the line of best fit, that's what you have to do. In other words, you have to show it on the graph. So use the line of best fit on the scatter plot to estimate the score that Nuala gave this act. Show your work on the scatter plot. So Mike gave the act 35. So what I'm going to do is I go to 35 where Mike's scores are. I do a dotted line until I hit my line of best fit, and then I read down. So for me, that's coming out at about 31. So about 31 is my answer there. Yours might be slightly different, and that's actually okay. As long as you've shown the marking on the diagram where you're getting your answer from, you will get the marks.